everybody, and welcome to, of course,
China.
Today we're coming to you from Cathy Zhang's office. Cathy is an accountant serving many foreign clients for the past 20 years.
Today we're going to be talking about taxes and issues with taxes and the dangers of taxes, tax evasion. We're going to talk about setting up companies here in China and work visas for foreigners. So don't go anywhere. This is going to be an interesting one.
All right, Cathy, thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Zev, for having me here.
I want to say one thing before. Cathy got me out of a mess more than once, and I thank you for that. And let's just jump right into that.
Sure. I guess that one of the first questions that I have, we have many questions about this. Me personally, I want to know, how do people get caught in tax fraud? I mean, don't they know that they're going to get caught at one point? I mean, how do they get caught, for example? What are some of the most common mistakes that people make?
In China of 2020 or
yeah.
2021, right?
I think, first of all, they may have lack of knowledge regarding this area, or they don't put much importance with the tax part, or maybe they are misled by somebody. I don't think everybody is intentionally do that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So if they have the correct guidance for that, they will choose the right way, I believe.
So the right accountant is important.
How do you know that an accountant is good then? I mean, if you're going to choose an accountant, I have an accountant. It was recommended by a friend, but if somebody just comes to China, they want to set up a company, how do they know, I should choose Cathy, or how do they go about that? What is the best way?
I think for a better accountant, first of all, we must know the clients, know what the clients wants to do, and together with the knowledge in our mind, we need to give them the advice, which way is the most suitable one for them.
So, like, if I'm a new in China and I want to get an accountant because I want to start a company or anything, right? And yeah, I may look online and I may look in a magazine like here, and I see a few. What do you think I should ask the accountants that maybe I go meet three? I need to choose. How do I know? That's what you asked.
How do I make that choice?
How do I make the choice? What do you recommend someone to check when he chooses the right accountant?
I think when you have the conversation with these accountants, you need to pay attention if they are asking you questions and trying to know your business model.
I see.
I have seen many people, for example, they set up the wrong company because their accountant just gives them one choice, because they never wants to know what the clients would like to do. So regardless the client's needs, they just set up a company for them, but this company may not be suitable for the clients.
Like the scope of the license?
Yes. For example, the first time I met with each client, my question will be for them is I will ask them what is their business and to whom they are going to sell, what kind of things they are going to sell. They are going to sell goods or sell services. Where are they going to buy? Are they going to buy from China local market or buy from abroad? Are they going to sell the goods to China local market, or they do export?
How many people they may want to hire?
Yes.
So basically you're saying a good accountant needs to really know what you're planning.
Yeah,
and if they're not trying to know you and the business you're trying to open, something is wrong.
Yeah, if they're just trying to sell you something quick, a quick solution, then that's not a good call.
Right. So, okay, so about that, setting up company in China, right? It changed a lot over the past decade or two, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of experiences, some crazy ones.
Fernando, I've had 4 companies,
And so it changed a lot. Today it became much easier, right?
Right. It became much easier since about 8 years ago, because when I just started my career in Dongguan in 20 years ago. At that time, for example, if you want to set up a WOFE, this foreign-owned, wholly foreign-owned enterprise, the capital needs to be at least $1 million for
because
for
it was based on manufacturing.
Correct,
right?
Correct. And also mainly at that time, the WOFE is manufacturing company, not so many trading the trading business actually started later, not at that time. Started later from 2008.
But also the trading companies could get away with having a rep office, right? A representative office, which is different than a company, fully
What
fledged.
is that exactly? So that the people understand is you would set a company, for example, in Hong Kong, which is a lot easier. You could go and buy companies off the shelf, companies that have already been established, and they're just there waiting for somebody to come and buy them.
Or you can even do it over a company that you already have in the US or wherever.
And then you would just set up a representative office of that company. Some of the caveats about those is that they were not allowed to
issue FAPIAs
and to earn money.
So basically, they
non-profitable, non-operational entity and no profit, no sales, just a backup service.
Representing another company from
another country. And that's what a lot of people were doing to get work visas. So they would set up a company in Hong Kong, open a representative office and get a work visa, even though they were not generating any income from there.
But still about setting up companies, I do want to say about what you just mentioned, right? I always think like people, some people want to move to China. I think it's going to happen more and more, right? Yeah. And I think, is it correct that one of the ways to do that is to come and open a company?
Yeah.
And start a company and then give yourself a visa. I mean, of course, you need to have some idea, a business,
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe because I'm here for very long, it sounds like it's easier to just open a company here than I'm going to the US and opening a company. At least it's much cheaper.
Right.
Much cheaper.
Especially now, because to open a company, there's no barrier such as capital limit. So usually we would just...
really? You
can just open a company.
No barrier to set up a company. And also it's very easy to set up a company through an individual foreigner's name. No need must to be a
Chinese
foreign company. And also no need must be a Chinese. Yeah, an individual foreigner can set up a company easily here now.
Right, so...
I need your number.
So basically... So basically, if you're like a freelancer, a graphic designer, and you're in the US now, and the situation is not very good, right? And you're thinking of moving to China, you could come and without too much capital, set up a company, start finding clients, right?
And also,
and stay and work legally.
And work legally.
Work legally, right.
And how much? To open a company, let's just say how much it may cost. You may pay, I think, 10,000 to 20,000 fees,
right,
for the service of helping you doing that, right? Stuff like that, which is what, $2,000-3,000 Right?
No, it's about 20. We usually for WOFE setup we charge 20,000,
which is $3,000 US dollar.
Wait, 20,000 US dollars?
This is just the start up.
$20,000 US dollars or 20,000 RMB?
Renminbi. It's renminbi. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So 20,000 RMB to set up the company, and you can probably find it cheaper, but maybe they will not speak English with you like Cathy does, right? So you may have other issues there. But what I'm saying is that it's not very difficult. It's very achievable. You want to move to China? One of the ways, come and open a company and start your business and give yourself a visa the right way, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a person who believes in the ability to generate your own income, this is the way to do it. For example, if you're a YouTuber, let's say I wanted to become a YouTuber. I could set up a company and then I'll be able to work here legally and make my money outside. Now, talking about filing taxes in China, let's talk about that. If I'm an individual, what are some of the limits after how much income do I need to declare taxes as a foreigner here in China, for example?
Mainly you're talking about the salary income or service income, right?
Individual income tax.
This individual income tax, every year for each person you have a 60,000 renminbi deduction.
Okay.
So
5,000 a month.
Yes,
After that-
5,000 a month, and after that there's a tax, which is
Which tax?
from
It's also
by
bracketed.
step, by
Yes.
different brackets from 3% to 45%.
45%.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say you make around 5,000 US dollar a month, which is 30,000 RMB, right? Then what would be the tax around?
The
You
personal
mean
income tax.
30,000 renminbi,
Yes,
right?
a month.
That will be about 2,500.
Renminbi.
That is just a rough.
Right, roughly.
Yeah.
An idea.
So you make 5,000 US dollar and you pay about $300 to $400
Taxes.
taxes, right? Roughly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the people, they don't declare their full salary.
Yeah.
And companies cooperate with that. Companies, people, right? Because the company is required to declare the people's salaries, right? And the taxes are taken from the company, and the company deducts it from the salary when they give the people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Withhold.
so there is still a very wide practice of not declaring the full salary. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is such practice,
Right.
but we must say this practice is not totally legal.
No, it's probably just not
It's
legal.
not legal. Plain and simple,
Right,
not legal.
right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But does it happen more, those kind of things, not really legal practices in second tier cities rather than places like in Beijing? Is it more strict?
Probably.
Probably.
I'm not so sure
We're not
about
sure, but-
Beijing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this is but I mean, it's some people don't declare at all, right? But I think this is changed a lot over the last many years. So more of taxes, right?
Yeah, I wanted to know when, for example, in America, you have all these turbo taxes and all these apps and all these things that help you file your personal income tax. Are there such things here in China? Like,
Yeah. In China, the government, the tax bureau also have developed such individual income tax declaration app. And you can put your deduction information there, and also you can declare your tax through the app. But for many people who are employed by companies, the more common way is their company will help
Do it
them
for
to
them.
withhold their individual income tax. But through the app, they can see all the information the company has declared.
I had a situation that perhaps I'll just share it here and you tell me your experience. I was working for a school and they were deducting taxes from me, but they were not paying them. When I went to renew my work permit, I needed to show my
Wow.
taxes and it was like, you haven't paid taxes. I'm like, so I went to the school and basically I quit. But could I have taken any legal action against them?
Sure. Because the school should be the first one that the tax bureau should come to, because they are the withholder of your individual income tax. And actually, they kept your tax in their pocket, right?
Yeah.
They should pay to
How
the
does
tax bureau.
a teacher in China or any other employee, right, foreign employee in China right now watching this, how do they
Make sure.
Oh, maybe my company is doing the same. That's
Yeah, because they did that to me for about 7 months and
How
I didn't
can
know.
they check?
Okay.
The employee.
Okay, they can check through the app, but for foreigners, for the first time, you may need to go to the tax bureau in person to do a name verification first. And after that, you are going to have a username and password. You can go into the app and check if you're...
Yeah, this happened to me in 2017 and I went there just with my passport to get a printout of my taxes for renewing my work permit. And when it came out like zero, and I was actually downgraded from having like this 5-year visas to a 1-year visa because of that, like
Some
this
issue.
is- yeah.
Right.
So I blamed the school for
Right.
category C to category B to category C downgraded.
Now, how is taxes related to visas? I mean, like, I think in a few ways, right? In one way, you can, the more taxes you pay, the easier it is to get a visa, right?
Yeah.
If you don't pay the taxes, you're gonna have problems with your visas, right?
Yeah.
And it's getting more strict about this, which.
Yes, if a person has the bachelor or bachelor above diploma degree, so they must declare a very high salary. But if they don't, or if they cannot provide the diploma notarization documents. In order to get a visa, the easiest way is to declare a qualified salary.
Higher salary.
Yeah, a higher salary. For example, now in Dongguan, from July, the new policy is for Class B, you have to declare a salary more than 21,500 renminbi per month.
Okay,
That
so
is
even
the
without
salary.
a degree,
Yeah.
you could get a work visa.
Yeah.
But you need to declare an income of
a
which is
higher,
higher,
which is
21,000.
okay.
Right,
Yeah.
And then
right.
you pay taxes based on that.
pay
Right.
tax, yeah.
You pay
I
tax.
have a thing that I wanted to ask that connects a lot of these ideas. What about Social Security? Social Security for a foreigner. Is it mandatory? Is it optional? How does it work?
Okay, so for Social Security, is according to the law, is still mandatory for
For foreigners?
everyone, including foreign
This is like
employees.
new from a couple of years ago, right?
Yes,
few years
yes.
ago.
According to this new law, new social insurance law, foreigners also are mandatory to pay social insurance.
Which social insurance, just a minute, it includes
It's a package.
unemployment,
Yeah, it's a package.
health,
Pension.
pension, housing, all
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
No housing.
No
housing
housing.
is another separate
Okay,
thing.
okay,
okay.
It includes pension, working injury, unemployment, medical, and maternity.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying it's mandatory for foreigners.
Yes, yes.
But do you have it?
I do.
You
I
do?
do. I do. I do. I
You
do.
do?
But
Yes.
I must tell that in practice, it's true that many foreigners and also their employers are not paying this social insurance. And of course, if the foreigner has no objection, so basically it's no problem.
Well, what
Yeah.
I think is that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of investment. It's a lot of a lot of work to get all this documentation, this formalities for people who are going to be here for 6 months or a year, or you know what I mean. So for somebody who's a long stayer like yourself or like myself, it makes absolute sense.
I think that first of all, the social security payment is about what 700-800 renminbi every month in total, right? I mean, of course, it changes according to salaries, maybe, but I'm saying the basic
one. Yeah, the basic minimum one now is about 900.
900. And also I want to mention that there is 2 parts to that, right? One part by the company.
Yeah.
It's about 2/3. And
Yeah.
one part is by the actual employee, which can be deducted from your salary.
Yeah.
Right? But I think one of the concerns I've been hearing from foreigners is like pension. Okay,
Yeah.
even if I work here 3 years, then I go home. Why, am I going to see this pension?
You can apply to refund the pension in your own account. I mean, for the pension, there are 2 accounts. One is the social accounts. That is belong to the social system, the social insurance system. And the other account is your personal account. So you can withdraw the money, withdraw the pension funds from your personal account.
You can.
You
so
can.
it's not lost. You're going to get it.
Right.
If you're
right.
paying it.
Yeah.
What are other benefits? Sorry, in terms of medical of having Social Security, have I used it? I don't think I've used it ever. I got it only like a year ago or something.
First of all, you may need to use it with Chinese local hospitals, right?
There are some hospitals
there are
now.
there are many hospitals are under this social security system.
Private hospitals too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some private.
But this is not full coverage of
Right.
health insurance,
Right.
This
Yeah.
is just like an aid, or like if something happens and I need to go to the hospital, like Fernando, you have this insurance, right? Do you pay less? Do you know?
Basically, there's I think that my wife had to go to hospital and she paid less than if we would have gone to Kanhua, whatever hospital. And medicines are also
A bit
cheaper.
less.
Yeah. So it does make sense to actually use your
But it's
social
probably
security.
not good enough as a instead of.
No.
of,
I don't think it
of a
replaces an insurance
A real-
policy that you could buy. I don't know, whatever company.
Right. And
But
what are the other parts of it? Okay, so unemployment. Can I, as a foreigner, paying this for a couple of years now, social insurance, and now I got fired. That means I can't get my visa anymore. Also, how can I claim unemployment?
You can apply. You can apply like Chinese.
Yeah.
The condition is that your social insurance has been stopped.
But they also stopped my visa. I can't even be here, for example.
Right. That could happen.
There's a kind of like an issue there.
But isn't there like a period of grace? I mean, for example, if I get fired and they stop my visa, there should be like a period of grace. I think, like
there are several months. There are several months.
Really?
They can stop your work permit card, but this is belong to the HR bureau,
Labor Bureau.
And Labor Bureau. But they are translate such information to the police once several months. So maybe this information will be delayed.
But let's say they fire me and my visa and my passport is done in 2 weeks, then I'm in trouble, right? Right. But okay, and another thing that is interesting, I think, about taxes and visas, right? Okay, many people stay in China on a business visa, which have many legal ways to do that, right? I mean, basically, you're legally in China. You're supposed to do business, so not to get a salary in China, but maybe you are a trader. You are supposed to be here to meet with possible partners or current
suppliers.
Partners. So, it's legal, right? You're here under a valid visa. But you're supposed to pay tax here if you are here on this visa for a certain amount of time every year.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
180 days, I think.
This is for 183 days.
Right.
This is for the countries that has a tax treaty with China. And most of the countries
have
has.
it.
Have
right.
it.
So, but there are many people on a business visa, again, legally, but they're not doing that. Nobody's paying taxes on a business visa, almost, right? But I guess it's not enforced. It's not really, it's hard for them to check.
First of all, the work visa and tax obligation are two separate topics. So for tax obligation, they are mainly looking to if you stay in China for more than 183 days or not. This is the key point.
I see.
They don't, regardless what type of visa you're holding.
It doesn't need to be straight 100 consecutive days, right?
Right.
It's within 1 year, 183. Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question. I mean, this is all over the place talking about taxes. What happens when, for example, somebody says like, "Oh, I want to buy this. How much? 3,000." Okay, do you give me fapiao? No, it's more if you want fapiao. Is that legal?
This is okay for the seller. If they sell without fapiao or without charging,
well, fapiao is an invoice. Sorry.
fapiao is an invoice.
Official invoice.
This is a Chinese word. It means the seller is doing business in two ways. One is official way, and the other is
under the table.
Unofficial way. If they don't give you fapiao, that means they are doing business illegally. But this is very common.
If I am the buyer, am I also legally responsible for buying something without invoice?
Let's say even if you instigate, even more.
For example, let's say you sell me a phone and you don't give me an invoice. Well, he's cheating the system. Am I also part of that cheating because I buy without?
Okay, if you are individuals. So now the law does not say you are also doing illegal things.
Okay.
But if you are companies, you may be challenged by your in-charge tax office. So the in-charge tax office may say, your company, you are helping the suppliers to steal tax.
What I think is that there are so many companies in China, so many. I mean, think about a country that has a lot of industries and a lot of companies. Think about America. There's 300 and something million people. Let's say that there's 300 million companies. There aren't, but let's say that they are. Well, multiply that by a factor of 3 or 4. Exactly. Millions of companies. I think that the government basically looks at the larger companies, the larger revenue generating companies, and hey, let's look at your taxes and right.
But I mean, I think it's it's probably similar in every country, but like you said, it's in a big sea here.
Like so if you have like a small shop in a corner,
but maybe it will come one day. right? The system is tightening.
The trend is still more and more strict. Yeah, especially the golden tax system. The system can work automatically to check and give some.
What is this?
Okay, the tax bureau, they have also a developed IT system, and this IT system connect with all the invoice information and all companies tax declaration information.
Banks.
You must have it too. Best probably knows. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure with this system getting more and more developed, so this kind of control will also get more and more strict. So the trend is still for both companies and individuals to be compliance, to be more and more compliance.
Yeah, I have a computer in my office that's just for that. Computer, just for the tax.
Issue 发票.
For 发票. That is the computer we connect to the printer to issue 发票. And if there is a problem, sometimes Cathy from the office, she takes the computer to go to the tax bureau. With some IT to fix. I think it's getting better recently.
I find it really interesting that they don't work with Apple. A lot of this, why is that? I mean, you have to have a Windows computer to run some of these apps or some of this.
Oh,
you have to have a certain kind. That's true. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but I guess many softwares they are using is based on Windows platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
One question related to this. We talked about a lot of illegal things. How is the punishment in China for these kind of issues, for tax evasion? You know, taxes in the US, from what I know, and I'm definitely not an expert, it's very serious. Very serious. People go to jail, right? How is it in China?
In China, first of all, if you are found out to have tax evasion, you need to pay the tax difference. Of course, this is first, and then you need to pay penalties. And this penalty will be will be from 0.5 times to 5 times of the tax difference.
Penalty. Okay.
Yeah, this is the penalty according to how serious the problem
the
is.
amount and what.
So you pay the difference and then you pay the penalty.
And also
on
you
what
pay
you evaded.
late fee.
Late
you pay
fee.
late fee, and this late fee is 0.05% every day, and which comes to 18% every year.
18.
My Lord.
Yeah,
Right.
18.
And at what point you need to go to jail?
When you can't pay, I guess.
Yes, but normally now you don't go to jail unless you're very uncooperative.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Hey, we're going to take a very short break and we continue talking about taxes, fraud, and setting up companies' visas with Cathy in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
And we are back with Cathy Zhang. Cathy, we want to talk a bit more about company setups, right? Before I mentioned like a graphic designer in the US coming to China, one way to do it is just come here, open a company, give yourself visa. What's the options for this kind of person, and what would they need in order to open a company?
Okay, now it's very simple. They need to decide who is going to be the shareholder. For the shareholders, they can just be themselves as individual person, or they can use overseas company. And next, decide who is going to be the legal representative. It's like a general manager, and this person's name is going to be shown on the business license. And the third point, you need an office.
Right.
But this office can be a virtual one with a very small space. You needn't go there to work. Or if you really need an office, you just rent a physical office.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are the other things you need to hire an employee, right?
Yeah. And through this company, you can hire employees.
Do you have to hire employees?
No, not necessarily.
But you need to be the employee. Also. There is one employee that is necessary or not?
No. Not.
It used to be?
Employees is not necessary. Yeah, you can have, or you must have. Yeah.
And then what do I need to consider to be running the company's monthly necessary things I have to do? Like I have to do accounting.
Yeah, accounting and tax declaration. Even in China, the tax declaration usually is monthly, and also they are quarterly declaration and annual declaration. You need to maintain that. Even the company, for example, even in the beginning for several months, the company is not going to have any income. You still need to do zero tax declaration.
I heard that there are a lot of accounting companies like yours that actually offer a whole package.
Yeah.
Basically, they contact you or they contact this person and they're a one-stop solution. They help you set up the company and they offer you the accounting services afterwards. That's, I mean, it couldn't be easier than that.
Right. This is also what basically we are doing. We are doing this kind of one-stop service from company setup to the monthly accounting, tax, maintenance, and also for the general consulting.
Right. Now, I would say that years ago, probably now still, many foreigners open companies on a Chinese shareholder names.
Yeah.
I also had a story like this in the past, right? And I had trouble because of that. And many people had trouble, but some people didn't. They did it, I guess, because it was easier to open a Chinese company on a Chinese name. Right?
Yes, it was what we were talking earlier about the limits of money. It was different for foreigners and Chinese.
But it's still more expensive to open a foreign-owned company today. It's just the difference is smaller. Is that correct?
Yes, the difference is very smaller. It's very as the process generally is the same.
What would be the cheapest company I could set up if I'm a foreigner thinking of coming to China?
If you want to set up under your own name, you can only set up Woofy, this wholly foreign-owned enterprise. And I really do not recommend representative office under overseas company, because this structure has now is proved to be very complicated to set up and also complicated to maintain it. For example, every year you need to have the mother company's business license notarized abroad and bring here for the annual inspection. For this process, actually is very time consuming and it costs a lot.
And limited also what you can do.
Yeah.
What about if you're married?
Sorry, so the cheapest would be opening a Woofy.
Open a Woofy.
As an individual,
as an individual.
Office.
If
what would be the cost? Well, you mentioned 20,000 for the service, but the minimum capital investment would be what? Can it be zero?
It can be zero, but usually we don't really recommend zero because for a company, when you start up, at least you need some operating funds.
Sure.
So we would like to recommend 100,000 renminbi as a capital. But nowadays, you even needn't really put in this money in the beginning. You can have 20 years to put the money into the company account.
A capital account, a special one.
Yes, a capital account. And this money, you're not going to lose this money. You just need to show, okay, I have this money, the money transfer from abroad to China, and then you can use the money to pay your expenses.
Honestly, it sounds meaningless now that like 20 years you have it. It feels like they may stop that too. As well.
But the money needs to come from abroad. I mean, if a person is already here and was working for a company before and decides to become an independent person, so I'm gonna set up my company, but they don't have money abroad, can they do it?
They can do it.
You have 20 years.
They can do it,
Yeah, but she mentioned that the money has to come from abroad.
You can.
According to the current policy, yes, the money needs to come abroad, but you still have 20 years to do this to meet with the obligation. So also I would estimate that this kind of regulation, money must come from abroad. This regulation also may change in the future.
Right. Starting to
Why does regulations change? I love China and I like to talk about the things. China is constantly changing. Why does it change? because people say, hey, this is not working for us. Hey, this needs to be better. Hey, this needs to be
Change is
improved.
slow, but it's
Yeah,
changing.
but it changes.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the government listens to the things that people need, and they do it.
And also, we have checked before, is it possible that for foreigners to use their money they earned in China to pay this capital? But now the answer is still not so clear. But I'm sure that in the future, because the money you earned in China, you have paid tax on
Yes.
it. It's the money under sunshine. So there's nothing to hide. So I'm sure there will be a way in the future you can do that kind of capital injection directly from China to
I
China.
love that term.
What about if I'm married with a Chinese and I want to open a company? Would you recommend doing it on the Chinese wife name? Or the opposite, or the Chinese husband's name?
This depends. Because for Chinese, they have another option. Besides limited company, they can set up a small entity. This small entity is unlimited entity. In Chinese, it's called 个体户 or 个人独资企业. Maybe you don't understand
What does
this
it
word,
mean?
but this means the sole individual invested enterprise.
Okay.
So this is unlimited. Why I mentioned this kind of entity, because the tax structure for this small entity is more tax efficient,
Okay.
and also it's legal. It's legal.
And a foreigner cannot open that.
Foreigner cannot. But if this foreign if this WOFE company is under some sales scale, it's still tax efficient, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I've always wondered what is the effect of digital payments like Alipay, like WeChat Pay in terms of taxation. I mean, sellers can't hide their income anymore. Is that connected to the tax bureau? For example, when I go to Meijia, which is a convenience store like a 7-Eleven, and I pay, there is a record. There's a record that's probably shared with the authorities. So the seller has to now pay taxes on that. There's no longer the possibility to hide that you've made sales. Is that true? Is that how it works?
Correct. You know, if the tax bureau, if they want, they can have access to the taxpayers' bank system, including the Alipay system or WeChat system. They can have that access. But I think the main thing is still, first, if what is the seller would like to do, if they are going to declare their full income or not.
Sure, and then they will be. The thing is that it will be very stupid for them to do it because there is now a digital record of the discrepancy.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
What about this question you wanted to ask about the YouTubers and stuff
Sure.
like that?
I mean, when you are working as a YouTuber or as a Bilibili or Douyin, right? And people send you money, send you tokens, right? You're doing a live show, and what are they called? Those
Doja? You mean tips?
tips, yes.
I guess.
Yeah, they send you tips. That's actually money. Or if you're on YouTube, for example, they send you chat, so they send you money. This is a new way of making money.
Yeah.
How is China adjusting to monitor this new form of income? Because it's
Okay, so usually this kind of tips income is through a platform, and this freelancer is working with the platform. So as far as I know, there are two ways they can get money from the platform. One is they can issue 发票 under their individual name to they issue 发票, the invoice to the platform, and platform pays them. This 发票 can be also issued through another platform. This platform is mainly providing service to helping you issue 发票.
For it's like freelancers?
Yes,
okay.
yes. And this is legal because that company, that platform, they have applied qualification from the tax bureau to help them issue 发票. So this is one way. And the other way is the freelancer may set up a company under his or her name. And his or her company will issue 发票 to the platform, and platform pays them.
For example, if somebody scans a QR code on a video,
Yeah.
and they send 10 yuan, 20 yuan, 100 yuan, as a
Directly.
to that person, to the content creator.
Okay.
It doesn't go to a company. It just goes straight into WeChat. If I use that money, then it gets registered as I had some income. So I would actually need to declare that income, even if I have a job, right? So I'm paying taxes because I'm employed.
Yeah.
But now somebody's sending me money on WeChat because they saw my video, whatever. How do I?
You also can declare that income because of course, the law allow you to have income from different resources.
Okay.
Your employment, your salary income, you can declare, and your other income you also can declare. You can declare when you do the annual declaration.
Annual.
When you talk about the amount of money that you've earned, based on which you need to pay taxes. So all these little tips and all this little money that people have sent you, they add to your income.
The tax bureau will not automatically see you have this kind of WeChat income. They're not going to see, but of course they can see if they want this access, they can see.
Yeah.
But they don't automatically see. So first, this depends on the individual person who gets such income.
I should declare it.
You will declare or not. Of course, according to law, you should declare.
I think in any country, according to law, you need to declare your income.
Right.
That's it. It's a period, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
sure.
Yeah.
But
maybe
so
in
it's like
practice,
a freelance income.
But it's a strange thing because how do you keep track of, like, for example,
you're
those,
responsible to keep track.
but those Douyin people, pew 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 pew. So like,
Are you responsible to keep track of that?
For some clients, if they are willing to pay tax, and we can help them. We can help them to check that records and help them to make declaration.
I would assume that 99% of people do not pay tax
99.9
on getting getting 50 RMB, 500 RMB here, 200 RMB there, right? But I think it's important to mention, I'm not sure the number, but there is some kind of threshold. There is kind of when the bulb opens, in red light at the tax bureau, when Ziv is receiving 20,000 RMB on WeChat or 50,000 RMB to my bank account. Is that correct? There is some kind of
they are.
system limit.
Yes, where they get like beeping, right?
WeChat and Alipay still, they are not automatically connected with tax bureau.
That's
they are
a really
not going to
important
reinforce
piece
them.
of information for our viewers.
It's not, but bank account, yes.
Bank account also depends on the tax bureau. They don't automatically check.
But like if someone transfer me 300,000 RMB tomorrow, I'm going to get a phone call, right? I mean...
No.
Not at all.
I'll transfer that. And
No.
It's just, and then I use it to buy a car or whatever, cash.
No.
Currently, no.
No.
Currently, no. Still depend. This still depends on the individual's intention to declare or not.
Hey, can I ask you a question now that we're talking about this? I don't know if you can talk about this. We could edit it if there's need. What is this whole thing about a credit system in China? Is that a real thing?
The credit system, you mean social credit system?
Social credit
Social
system.
credit system. Which is
Now-
related to also money.
Now there is a social credit system, but this system now it only covers part of the life, not all. It mainly covers your record related with the bank cards, credit cards,
it's
and
like-
your
it's like-
loans.
A lot of people try to say like, oh, you get in trouble. It's the same as a credit score.
No, but
so far.
I think there is an aspect that is social, not money related.
Well, the note, what she's telling us
For
is just
example,
basically banks.
there's another credit system which is not related with money. If a person is the shareholder or the legal representative of a company, and if this company owe money to somebody else, and if this has passed the lawsuit and the court has sentenced, you must pay to your supplier, but you didn't pay. So in that case, your name can be put on the blacklist. Yeah.
Okay. How about transferring money into China and out of China? This is a big issue that foreigners had over years. Like, so hard to transfer money out of
outside,
China, right? Into China seems more straightforward. You can receive up to $50,000 every year. I guess in 365 days, or is it in a fiscal year?
Yeah, in fiscal year.
Okay.
From January 1st to December 31st.
And actually, my bank app shows it to me very clearly, right?
How much quota you have?
How much quota I have? 38,000 more, whatever, And that's it. I guess after that you can't receive money. But there are other ways, I'm sure. But more importantly, sending money out. How some people say it's easy. Do you do it?
How do you do it? The way that I do it is I have okay, I'll share what I do and you tell me if this is legal. And I don't know. I have 3 credit cards, and I went back to my home and I gave a credit card to my family. So like, if you guys need money, just go to an ATM and take money from my credit card.
Right. I've heard people do that. That sounds easy, right? You can, you pay the interest, the commission, whatever.
Sure. You pay what you have to pay, but it's just convenient.
It's easy to do. And not every ATM gets, serves this kind of cards,
Yeah, you
right?
gotta go for a Visa or whatever. But
now,
is that legal?
You mean who take money from the credit cards?
My family.
Your family takes the money from your credit card in
their home country.
In your home country, and you return money. You repay the money
I pay the
here.
bank here. Yes.
or whatever,
okay.
not even credit, debit, whatever.
Yeah.
I have 10,000 in my account. My dad is taking tomorrow money to use for whatever.
Let's say I need to pay taxes in Colombia. Because now I have real estate in Colombia because my parents passed away, so I inherited. So I need to pay some taxes every year. So my brother takes a credit card, and he takes money
to pay that.
Pays the taxes.
But this is your
and
taxes.
That's it.
It's actually...
It's my personal taxes that I need to pay.
So it's actually, you didn't really... Okay, but anyway, you transfer money there.
Exactly.
That's legal,
So
right?
how you transfer your money you earned in China to your credit card account?
I pay it to the bank.
No,
in
actually,
China.
it's not transferring any money. It's still in China. You just are cashing it.
Yeah, it's almost as if I go on a trip.
Yeah.
Let's say I go on a trip.
Yeah.
And I take money from the ATM and I spend it. So
And
in my
here-
eyes, this is legal.
Here you repay it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So it's legal, right? But up to a certain number.
I don't see any problem with it, but I'm sure this is some bypass way. And usually, I want to mention is that if you want to send money officially to abroad, what you can do is, first of all, this money must be taxed first, and you have your tax proof. And if you're working here, you need to show your work permit to the bank, and your passport and your tax proof. Then you can transfer the money out.
So any money that's accounted for.
Also remember, if the company is going to pay you, you also can ask the company directly pay to your overseas account.
That's
instead
another way.
of instead of paying to your China account, they can pay directly to your overseas account.
But how about Western Union? Is that legal? Western Union, it's a money transfer service, so there are other ones too, right?
Yes.
And you pay commission?
You pay a commission, and if you are going to send money to your family, you can do that way.
So there's no problem? They don't ask you for tax records and stuff. You can send money.
And also they have limit.
There
they
is a
have
limit, right? But I can go every day, probably. And do
Okay,
that.
I want to ask another question. This is, I mean, we're touching so many things because it's a great opportunity. I become an investor.
Yeah.
I bought stock.
Yeah. Okay.
When do you need, I mean, if I don't sell the stock, I only declare it as, I mean, how does it work when you have stock? I just invested a few months ago.
In China market, in China.
In the American market, in the U.S. Stock exchange.
Okay. So you have a foreign account. I mean, overseas account. You are doing that with your overseas
Yes.
account, not with China account,
Okay.
right?
Are you? You bought it with the China account? Or?
You set up account
So that
outside of
means
China. You send the money from China to that account, and that account actually invests.
Okay.
So any money that I will make, I will put it into that account, and then I will have to bring it into China. But what is the step for people who want to invest in Western countries in terms of taxes?
I think
You
the profit is the...
You get taxed when you sell.
the profit is the income, right? I guess, if you sell.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you don't sell, it's an asset.
Correct. So in China, if you are not a China tax resident, I mean a fully China resident, you needn't pay this stock income tax in China.
A tax resident is a person who has paid
you know,
taxes
now
here.
there's a policy of 6 years, right? Based on the new individual income tax law, if a foreigner in 6 years, if you travel out of China, go out of China for more than 30 consecutive days, then you can break this 6 years. In that case, you just need to pay your tax based on your China income, not your assets income.
Okay.
I mean, not including your assets income.
This is interesting, but complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated.
All right.
Because people may think the China income just refer to their income they get paid in China. It also include the part they get paid maybe in Hong Kong or in other countries because of their work here in China.
All right. I want to ask you another thing related to money, finance, foreigners in China. It seems that as a foreigner, unlike a Chinese person, I cannot buy a house or a car with down payments, with a mortgage. Is that correct?
No.
I cannot get a loan from the bank for that.
You can apply. You know, for foreigner, if you work here and if you have work permit, you have the tax payment record, you still have the chance to buy apartment here, and also you can apply for a mortgage.
So you have a chance to get a mortgage.
Yeah, you have a chance. Yeah, depends on the bank. Maybe some banks yes, some banks maybe no, but you still have chance.
Somehow all the foreigners that own houses have Chinese wives.
It appears to be so. I have another question related to this new green card for foreigners. We have a friend who's applying for his green card.
He's getting it, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
and does that change anything related to taxation when you get a green card?
It does not change the tax status. Yeah, it's mainly will be more convenient for this person to stay in China, and also to be more convenient for the visa thing. They
Don't need to do it. It doesn't need to.
Yeah, they no longer need such a visa to stay here. They can,
So basically, this is just like a regular Chinese ID.
right.
I mean, I can use it to buy tickets. I can use it to enter places.
Actually,
Yeah.
you also it's obligation for you to carry it with you at all times, like Chinese. Since
Yeah.
well, I guess we have it with passports too. Not that we do that, right?
Yeah.
But so it's just it doesn't change taxes. It doesn't change those things. But it's like a green card, like American green card. You think?
People call it a green card. I don't know the exact name in Chinese.
It's a 10-year, right? term.
5 years or 10 years. Yeah.
And
I get a 5 years, a
Visa.
5-year residence. Yes.
Residence visa.
But that's not a green card.
but this green card is permanent. Is it permanent?
Yes.
Permanent residence.
It's called permanent residence card.
So I can use it also. Is it the number? Is just like a Chinese ID?
Yeah.
Is the same serial?
It's got a chip. It's got, well, I don't know.
No, I mean, like, for example, there are certain things we may not be able to do. Sometimes you have those apps, maybe you want to rent a car through an app, or it's more difficult for foreigner. There is no place to put the passport number. But now that's like a Chinese ID, or?
It's it looks like a Chinese ID.
Like a card.
And also now more and more systems in different organizations can support such kind of card.
Right.
Yeah.
What are the requirements to get such card, if you know?
The most common way for many foreigners is if they married a Chinese wife, and if the marriage has been more than 5 years,
yes.
then you have a chance. You have a chance to apply for that card.
I have a question. My wife is Chinese. We married in Hong Kong.
Good. Yeah. That's also good. You married.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Where you married. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
no, but does that, because I heard people say, oh, you have to register your
China.
wedding, your marriage in China, and then the 5 years start counting from then. Is that right? I mean, because we've been married for 5 years, but we got married in Hong Kong.
Okay. So I can check for this point. I haven't.
What is, you need to register marriage in China? I mean, because she's Chinese. Okay, I get it. Right. Not
Because
just-
apparently in Hong Kong it's a lot easier to get married than in China. For whatever reason.
So we need to say to that graphic designer coming to open a company, marry Chinese too. Things will be easier. But no, there are other ways, right?
Yeah, there are other ways, and that's based on your work permit class. If you're a class A, and if your annual income is not lower than 400,000 renminbi, so that also give you a chance to apply for this
But
card.
you still need to have those requirement met for a few years.
Yeah, for a few years. I don't remember exactly
Right,
how many
right.
years, but once you finish these certain years, you can apply.
So it kind of makes sense. You need to be a very prominent expat in China
Resident,
with
yeah.
strong ties to get.
Or
the
you have a
permanent-
very high diploma degree.
like
And
the talent.
talent. You graduated from very famous university, and you got doctor degree. Then
You won a
also have
Nobel
chance.
Prize.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
sure,
So you're
sure.
welcome.
Yes.
All right, I think we need to take a break.
Sure, let's take a short break and
Okay.
we'll be back with Cathy.
And we're back with Cathy. So, Cathy, we're sitting here at this office, and in the back, people cannot see, but
It's very bright.
Yes, but we have the official Dongguan Daily newspaper, the media group.
Yeah,
It's a
yes.
government, right?
Yeah.
Then we have right here the customs building.
Yeah.
And right there we have the Dongguan subway headquarters. And then we have the Dongguan TV and radio.
Yeah.
And the
This-
Porsche dealer, because I like cars.
And the Porsche dealer. Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
A very special place to have your office.
Yeah.
strategic.
But you are opening a new office. You're moving to another place. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm moving to another office because to make this firm more stable and also with a bigger space to develop. So I bought another office, and we are now under construction, doing the renovation,
Right.
so that we can move in this May. Yes.
How many employees do you have?
Now I have 15 employees.
15 employees,
Right,
right?
yeah.
And this new office, which is in a very nice building, a new building like a tower, right?
Yeah.
Vanka. Is it?
Yeah, Vanka.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the concept is very interesting. You told me about, right? Maybe you can explain us what you're doing in that office, other than having your employees working.
Okay, in that new office, we're going to have two separated area. One is our own office area, and the other is the shared office. Because after so many years, I think for many clients who come to me, some of them they need us to help them to look for office to do the company registration. So we would like to offer some, maybe 5 or 6 space for them to register their company. If this is a small company with just one person, that will be perfect because we're going to offer a table, offer printing and drinks, and also that
secretarial
is
services.
Yeah, secretarial services.
So the one-stop shop really getting a new meaning.
Yeah.
So if someone coming from abroad and starting a company and
they got their office, they got their accountant, they got everything done.
Right.
And you mentioned that this. In China, it is also possible to have a virtual office. So why do you need to have a physical office? Is it for certain kind of companies or?
Usually now for each kind of companies, even that's called a virtual office, you still need a space. The space can be very small.
What's the size that is required?
There's no specific size limit, but usually, according to our experience, it should be about 8 to 10 square meters inside.
And then it means you need to show the government that you paid rent, right? On this 10 square meter at least.
But you were saying something, correct me if I'm wrong, when we were doing the preparation, that it has to be physically separated. It has to be physical walls. It's not like that desk is that and that desk is...
Right. Nowadays, you need to have these partitions and simple furnitures. In the past, there is a period you needn't prepare this, but nowadays, since the bank account opening is getting more and more strict because the bank needs to come and investigate if the business really exists and if the business is really doing what they have described on their business license. So they need to be careful.
Can you register? I know 15 years ago I had an office in a residential garden. It's an apartment, and I had I repurposed it for an office, and but you couldn't do that. You couldn't register a company address in residential, so I also rented an office outside, the cheapest one I could find. Nobody was there. Is it still impossible to register a commercial address?
Like small office, home office?
Home office.
Right. Now it's still not possible to register in the residential place. It must be a commercial place. But nowadays, the better thing is even in one office building, if you rent one office, and if you can do a separation, do some partitions inside the office, you can get several number to register several companies there.
Which is, it wasn't like that in the past, right?
Right. In the past, it's more difficult, but nowadays it comes to a standard policy.
So you're moving because you're growing.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Yeah.
How did you get here? Let's talk a little bit about your story. Where did you study?
Where
were you from? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for asking. So for me, I grew up in countryside in Middle China, Henan province. And that is a place with a very long history. Since Shang Dynasty.
Shang Dynasty.
Yeah, they set up the capital there in my hometown, Luoyang city.
So that was the capital of China.
In the ancient times.
Yes.
It's the capital of 9 dynasties.
Wow.
Okay, so and I grew up there, and I went to university in Beijing Normal University. That is the best teachers' university. I majored in economics management, but meanwhile, because I love learning English, so I choose English as my second major.
That was about 20 years ago?
Yeah, that's 20 years ago.
That time when you majored, one of your majors was English. Did you have foreign teachers in the university?
Yes, we've got English teachers, foreign teachers.
Right.
And also I studied together with the English major students.
I think that the fact that you speak English is one of the reasons why a lot of foreigners come to you. Because
right.
this kind of...
I must say that is, I've known Cathy for several years, and Yeah, your English is great, and it's
Thank
definitely
you.
very important. But it's not just a language; it's knowing how to explain something in terms, especially with this industry, right? Accounting.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
In terms you can really understand it. So yeah, but English, without English, you wouldn't be serving foreigners. I think, right.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, some foreigners use, accountants that are maybe a lot cheaper. They don't speak English. They have not nice offices, maybe. And then you need to use them through a third person, maybe your assistant, or
Yeah.
Can
and a
communicate
lot
with
is
them.
lost, and you don't know a lot of the little things, right?
Yeah, just, as long as we're not breaking the law, just get
Right.
it done.
But then later, there is always problems later, right?
Yes, yes. Because I think the direct communication is very important.
Right.
Especially even the translator can translate some of the meanings that the Chinese accountant tell you, but you know this there will be some important information missing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you went to the Beijing Normal University about 20 years ago, right? How was Beijing back then?
Beijing at that time is my impression, of course, is cold, and for me that was my first time to go to a very big city from a small place to a big city. So I really learned a lot there, and in my spare time, I did a lot of tutoring work.
Tutoring?
Yeah.
Tutor what? English?
Some, for middle school students, for English and for math, or and for other subjects.
Coming from the countryside, do you feel, because I see it with Chinese people, but do you feel that you work harder than those Chinese that grew up in cities?
Yeah, I worked harder. I think, yeah. And my father is also was also a teacher at that time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and he always encouraged me. And of course, all the other teachers are his friends. So maybe this
circle.
Yeah, they also give me special care on my study.
Yeah.
You mentioned that your father sacrificed quite a lot to send you to university. I would like to ask you, or to tell us, our audience, because that illustrates a lot how important education is for parents. So,
my parents always told me I have to work hard in order to change my life, and then I can go out of the countryside and have a broader future. So that's also the motivation for me to work hard. I think many Chinese are doing this way.
okay.
Is your family still in the same place now?
My parents, yes, but my brother has settled down in another city, Chongqing.
In Chongqing?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Sichuan.
sometimes my parents will go and live with him.
Right.
After Beijing, where did you go?
After Beijing, because when I was in university, I have set up my target. When I graduate, I will go to Guangdong province. My first target is Shenzhen. It's Shenzhen. So when I looked for search jobs, so my first job is also in Shenzhen, but I didn't work there very long. And later my previous boss, the first accounting firm I worked in, approached me because at that time he was also studying in Beijing University, MBA courses, and he's studying there, and we know each other there. And he said he has an accounting firm here, and he wants to recruit some new, fresh graduates. So he invited me to come here and see. At that time, when I first time came to Dongguan, of course, I know Dongguan is just next to Shenzhen. It's very close to my target. So I come here and see, wow, the economy was growing very fast at that time. And many new investors, especially Taiwanese. There are many Taiwanese coming in, set up factories and doing business here. So that gives me a very deep impression that I will have my I can develop my potential here.
Right.
I will have a lot of opportunities. But I cannot see it in Beijing, because in Beijing, as a person without any background, without any connections, the chance for me to develop there, I think is very is pretty low. I would like to rather to based on my own strengths to grow up.
The same reason why I chose Dongguan.
Right. It seems that a lot of people, for sure, a lot of people came down to Guangdong with the same concept in mind, right? In different industries.
Yeah.
So how was it? Because before the previous podcast with Sophie Yuan, she told us about finding a job here after coming from another province, right? How was it for you? 20 years ago, I don't think you opened 51job.com.
No.
To find a job.
No. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. You must mainly based on, because at that time internet is not popular. You must based on your own connections and send paper resumes to somebody. Maybe you can approach.
There's something else that probably we forget because we've been here so long. People couldn't enter Shenzhen.
Right.
Yes, at that time you need a special permit.
Yes.
You need a special permit to enter Shenzhen.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even if you're looking for a job in Shenzhen, you needed an invitation maybe? Or?
And also considering Shenzhen has much more competition, I think my potential may grow more in Dongguan, in this newly growing city.
So what year did you come to Dongguan? What year did you come to Dongguan?
20 years ago. 2001.
2001 you came to Dongguan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then you worked for an accounting firm.
Yes, in an accounting firm. And this firm later joined a global accounting group. So that's the reason I have more chance to have opportunities to give service to foreign companies. Yeah, because of this global network. And also through this network, I have the chance to give service to my second employer, the Spanish apparel company Mango. So after giving service for them for 4 years, I joined Mango because at that time they wanted to expand their business here in China and open a lot of shops. So
Right.
I joined.
So you joined them,
Yeah,
and then you were the in-house accountant.
Yeah, in-house
for them.
accountant, and I also involved in many other areas, including the import and export,
Right.
customs, the HR part, payroll, and also the even the legal part. Yeah.
So then you learned a lot working there,
I learned
obviously.
a lot.
And then you said, I think before we spoke, you said that they moved somewhere, right?
Yes, they first they were in Shenzhen,
Right.
so it's easy. For me, it's no problem to give service from Dongguan to a Shenzhen company. But later they moved from Shenzhen to Shanghai. So at that time, I also moved with them for 2 years. But after 2 years, I choose to go leave Mango and go back to Shenzhen. Go back to Dongguan. So at that time, I think based on my experience with working with foreigners, giving service to foreigners, I set up this firm. My target is to give services to the foreigners here in Dongguan or around Dongguan.
So this was seems like a lot of the accountants in China that I see that I meet are women, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes. Correct.
Why is that?
Attention to detail.
Actually, I always say, Chinese women are great. It's kind of sad that society is like more, there is more respect to men. You can see it. That's the society. That's the mentality. Probably changing, with time. But women work harder and a lot of times have better attention to details.
More stable.
More stable. So, as a woman, you own a business that grew over the last few years, and you're growing further. You're moving to a nice
You're
office.
expanding.
You bought a nice office. You're a successful woman. What are the challenges? Do you have any challenges being a woman doing that in
Sure.
China?
Yes, but I think from in the professional area, I don't think there's so many difficulty. I have the equal chance with men, but only in the family area, I think I need to, because to balance the life and work is always a challenge. It's always a challenge,
Right.
especially now the kids are going to schools. They need more of your time to accompany them or to get them. So this gives me more challenge.
So it's just hard work to be.
You need to excel in both areas.
Right. But
Yeah.
do you feel about? You think that in more industry, women have equal opportunities in China?
Yes, I think so. I don't think people are setting up special difficulties for women to involve in some industries. I don't think
Do
so.
women? I must say that there is almost no country in the world where women get the same pay for the same job. There is very few countries, I think. You know, so like there is still this men-women issue in every country in the world, practically, right? But in China, must be the same, right? The same job, a woman and a man, would they get the same salary?
They will.
On average.
They will.
You think they will?
Yeah. Yes. We never in my team and also in the other companies. What I can see, I don't see any difference because of the gender difference.
Huh.
Is it okay? A lot of people say that math is the international language. Accounting is all about numbers. Is accounting the same here as abroad, or do laws have a lot to do with?
From accounting point of view, most of the criteria are the same because China also learned a lot from other countries to build up the accounting system here. Yeah, so it's pretty international. But of course, in maybe some very specific areas, there's some minor differences.
Like localization,
Right,
adaptation.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But for tax, there are many differences and also many changes always.
So do you also serve clients outside of Dongguan?
Yes, we also serve clients.
But
outside
in
Dongguan.
matters of Dongguan tax and accounting, or like if there is someone watching this in Xiamen and he really liked you, and he wants to
Yeah.
use your services,
Yeah.
you can do that?
We can do that. We also we have a Xiamen client.
Okay.
The accounting
Just guess.
the accounting rule is the same, and also the tax policy is the same. Maybe only some small practices in local cities has some little difference.
But you need
not
to
so much.
physically be there for some things?
Sometimes, if we need to be physically there, we will be. But also, if we have clients there, we are going to set up find a local team member there, to give local service.
I see.
But our team here will still be supervising all the process.
Do you also have clients that they may first contact you and have a discussion before they even come to China?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, we have.
So
We
you
do email communication
Yes.
or now WeChat video call or Zoom call.
How do they?
Yeah.
How do people find you abroad? LinkedIn.
I think some are through
Word of mouth.
word of mouth, and the other is through my web page. I have a web page,
Okay.
website, and
Right.
maybe they search and they can,
find
they can
my
find,
content.
and of course through here magazine.
yeah.
This is another very important channel for us.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, I strongly recommend your services. I
Thank
always
you,
did
Dave.
to many in Dongguan and outside of Dongguan. And I thank you for talking to us. This was almost like a long free consultation.
No problem.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
I'd
It's
love
not
to.
sponsored. It's just friendship and
And respect.
Yeah, and respect. You know, and we want to bring this kind of information to our audience. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today. On behalf of the team, thank you so much for your time, but for your patience and for all the information that you shared. And well, you guys know how it goes. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
Give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content that we have in our channel, don't forget to subscribe to this and
hit the bell button to be notified whenever there is a new video out.
And Fernando really needs the bell button.
and until we see you again, this has been, of course,
China.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.